right, let's go. Another Jeep talk for my fellow avoidant discardees, or as we all like to call it, the emotional the emotional execution, right? All right, so as we drive, I'm gonna do it on our way to the gym. Hey, it's been nearly 4 months, all right? And for those who have watched the videos, look, man, the transformation is real. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life, all right? I'm 42 years old. I was a Marine Scout sniper, played college sports. I've been an athlete all my life. I've been in really good shape at various times in my life. I've also been in like really poor shape where you kind of let yourself go for various reasons. We can get into that another time. I talk about it a lot with my fitness and health investment initiative with my transformational coaching group, right? So in any case, I decided to transform my body, man. And it was all about mindset. So we did what we needed to do. All right, we went and bought some new clothes, decided to dress differently. It's amazing what happens when you decide to be relaxed, when you decide to not only make a decision about these things, but you slowly become it. You're not going to become it at first, but to transform yourself. And here we are, man. Look, it's going down, guys and girls. If you're a girl out there, God bless you, right? Like, we're all here to help each other. So you make a decision about some things 4 months in, and I could talk about how when we have obsessive thoughts or thought patterns, this period of transformation brought me to the point where things that would usually trigger like a chain of thought, like a thought pattern that would like trigger this chain that ends up keeping you in this relationship with time. It's a really strange thing where you feel like you're running out of time. Like you don't have enough time in the day. You start to come up with like these ideas, and then you get lost in these thought pattern chains and things like that. You think about that person. Dude, I can't tell you that I'll think about that person when I want to, because I will carry that person with me one way or the other. And one thing I've learned is that you can't hate, you can't resent, you can't be angry, man, because it brought me to where I am about to be. Or I already am. I'm just stepping into it, all right? And I'm not going to get into details yet, but eventually I will. We are on our way to some things. And so anyway, I catch myself stopping. And it's like I'm at the precipice of like switching from powerful state where you're relaxed, calm, collected, focused, to an anxious state where the thought patterns evoke like these emotions, and it really brings you into a negative focus, like on other things, like rumination or obsessive thoughts. I'm not there anymore. And that's the first time that's happened to me in a very, very long time. And a part of me didn't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I want to continue that. And it's really incredible when you give yourself time away. So you put all your downloads together. For those who have been reading into the discard, the avoidant attachment style, maybe you realize you yourself have been ebbing and flowing in and out of attachment and avoidant and secure and so on and so forth. If you've gotten that far in your self-reflection, man, if you're really ballsy enough and had the fucking courage, man, remember, the opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. Conformity to the old information that keeps you in formation. The conformity to your old thought patterns and how it makes you feel, and what those feelings end up keeping you in conformity with the old version of you. So I didn't want to talk about it necessarily. I don't want to jinx the shit, but I feel like when you give yourself time to download all of this stuff, and then you let yourself rest a little bit, meaning you put everything down that you think you need to hurry up for, and you stop like pressing yourself for time, that's when all of these thought patterns go away, and you start catching them as they're happening. And I don't even have to put a conscious effort into stopping them. They just stop themselves. I got to the point, and this is where I think I made a lot of progress. Anytime I had those emotions, I would sit with it, acknowledge that the emotion is there. And you hear people talk about it, and you try it, and it takes a while for all of that, the emotions to lift up and really ruminate around you and be in your energy. But you identify it and recognize that it does exist and it's okay, but it doesn't define who you are, and it's going to pass. So you let it pass. You give it some time, 30 seconds, give it a minute, give it 2 minutes, 5 minutes if you need to. That's the power of giving yourself time, right? Sitting in that silence, letting it hurt if it's going to hurt. Because over time, you teach yourself, and you're rewiring your nervous system to take care of itself. It's incredible, because I am at that point where these things do not bother me. And I'm sitting in a more powerful state more frequently. You're going to have the anxiety sometimes, right? You're going to have those feelings, right? At times, you're not going to be in powerful state 100% of the time. And this is the beauty of, I had a conversation of nutrition. And for those who know me, I talk a lot about that. People have been asking me, guys that I coach, they're like, Jeremy, how do you get the 8-pack, man? Because I got the 8-pack going on, folks. It's looking good, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the guys that I'm coaching, he says, Jeremy, how do you get the 8-pack, man? I said, look, just manifest it. Just think about it. Embody it and think about it. And when you think about being lean, think about where your food goes, to your gut, and eventually it goes to your liver. Your liver needs to be lean. Most Americans have a fatty liver. And so I'm thinking in terms of the liver. All right. And so what I do when I think about the liver is I think about inflammation and the frequency. How many times am I eating a day? Am I fasting? Right? Because if you're fasting, you're reducing your frequency of inflammation. The same goes for your frequency and thought patterns. How frequent are we in powerful state or primal state of fear, uncertainty, anxiety? Okay, those things. Frequency goes a long way. Frequency is energy. Light is frequency, is energy. Everything is interconnected, and that's my pillars of the Fitness and Health Investment Initiative on my other channel and with my coaching, right? I'm living it. As I'm learning it, I'm living it and applying it, man. If you take information and you don't find a way to implement it and practice it, it just becomes data that keeps you in formation, because you end up uselessly scrolling through it and not absorbing it and allowing it to anchor into your nervous system to basically replenish itself and self-cycle. Like every time you need it, it's right there. And so that's what's happened, guys. That's a powerful thing. It's a profound and powerful moment. All right? This shit does work. If you listen to the vocabulary or the language, all right, of these avoidant, discard videos or books or whatever the case, look, people are going to come from various perspectives, it turns out. And there are going to be men's perspectives and women's perspectives on it. There are going to be people who come from the point of, or the position that, hey, the avoidant fucked you over, man. They are adults. They are old enough to know what the hell they're doing. They choose to be their egotistical, narcissistic selves. But it turns out so did I at one point. So there must be some empathy involved. And so this is where you find other videos or other content, other books. Boy, oh boy, I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of research. I've interviewed people about it. And it's really interesting when you talk about avoidance with people, how many people actually know about it. I didn't know about this shit, man. But I've always kind of been a late bloomer with things. And people tell me I look younger than what I actually am. Maybe I do, whatever the case. But that's just how it goes. So I learned, better late than never, right? And so we can apply what we've learned holistically. And we're at the gym. And we integrate all of it. And here we are right now. and it's really, really powerful. And so those are some of the things that have happened to me. And at the same time, the way that you're communicating with people, the way that you are attracting people, boy, I've become the star of my neighborhood in a sense. And it's really incredible. I don't have fear like these old anxieties I used to have, man. Even with my experience with women, okay, I've had a lot of experience with women. All right, a lot of good times, a lot of crazy times. I could tell some stories, but the point is that, and of course, it turns out that when a person asks me many years ago, Jeremy, why are we both single? Have we just not met the right person? And I wish I had known then what I know now. It's that the answer is not maybe we just haven't met the right person, when in reality, all of those people that you met before were exactly the right people, because it turns out that they showed you versions of yourself that needed to be healed and needed to be brought to the surface. And that's important. That's a painful fucking thing, guys. Pardon my language, but I feel like emphasizing things and speaking my mind. I'm very calm, but I am passionate. I always have been, and I always will be. Hence the wrinkles on my forehead, right? So, but that's where we're at. And going back and learning about what you were actually trying to spend time forgiving yourself over. What am I supposed to be forgiving myself for? I know I broke people's hearts. I know I got my heart broken. I know I did some fucked up shit in my past. I know they did some fucked up shit to me. I've been cheated on. I've also been the cheater. That's a fact. I don't like to, I actually like to admit that, because I feel like I can be my authentic self. And it's important to be authentic. Okay, that's the key to all of this, man, because it brings more joy. When you can't be authentic, you have to wear a mask. I'm not trying to wear a mask, man. We're coming with the smoke. All right, as Roy Jones Jr., my favorite boxer of all time, used to say, he don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke. I'm coming with the smoke, man. I'm not the smoke and mirrors, the illusion, but the smoke. Like, we're coming with the heat, man. I'm bringing it real. I'm bringing it raw. We're going to bring it uncut. You're not going to see me talk from a script. What I'm talking about are things that I write about and I put in my curriculum, my coaching, collective coaching, and one-on-one mentorship curriculum. These are the things I've lived it. All right. And then you interview people. I can't tell you, I've gone on dates. I have gone on dates. I've updated. I have been dating. However, they're not the same kind. It's not the same kind of dating. I am genuinely curious from a childlike perspective. I've been talking with many people, and men and women. I've gone on dates with women. I'm a heterosexual guy. But I've been talking with guys too, man, about these things. And it's really interesting, people's perspective. You gain a lot of insight. And then on top of that, you're coaching guys, and now you're implementing a lot of this stuff. And we're actually talking openly about this. And it brings a lot of nuance or clarity to the nuances, right? There's nuances that we each have that paints your individual life and your history and who you are according to your ego. And what we carry with us unconsciously sometimes, right? And it brings clarity to the nuance. And so when we are authentic, we're coming with more clarity. And I can't tell you what has happened. Well, actually, I am telling you what's happened. And it's very profound, because here I am in this state where during the day, I could have spent time deviating into fucking la land, where I end up having some kind of negative conversation with a person who no longer is in my life. Okay, and maybe some people resonate with that. Have you ever had an argument or a conversation where if you meet that person in person, what are you going to say? And what I've come to realize is that today somebody had mentioned that finally, if this person does come into your life, they may try to provide an apology and ask for forgiveness, which is fine. And that's the universe's way of giving closure to things. I disagree with that. I think that all of this gratitude and being grateful and forgiving actually allowed me to be in a state of peace where I can love myself and forgive myself and forgive that person and find closure in that abundance of love that I've decided to have within myself. Okay? To where I don't have to fear rejection. And I don't. And every time I start to, I stop. And nowadays, it's that I don't even have to think about it to stop it. It's just doing it on its own now. And it's incredible how if you take some rest and time, because you're bringing in a lot of information, okay? It's hard. It is not an easy thing to do, to practice this on a daily basis with your affirmations. But they go a long way. They ingrain themselves. They integrate into your nervous system. All right. So that's what I would like to share with everybody. You don't need closure from anybody. And that makes it easier for me to decide to never talk to this person again. They may text me. There are mutual friends involved, and there are some events coming up in my family. And this person may or may not be directly or indirectly involved in some of these events. And so I've already mentally prepared myself for maintaining my silence and my security and my sovereignty. I don't, or my access, protecting my access. This person gets no energy access, very little. We're still connected in some way, but I've detached to the point where I've shut it off, and I am in control of my thought patterns, and I am in control for the most part of those things that allow me to stay in the presence of mind. That's your joy, that's your peace, that's your sovereignty, peace of mind, that's sovereignty, independent mindset. And so I don't need that closure, and therefore I don't have much to say about things. If a person apologizes to me and I run into them in person, which is fairly likely, I will say thank you, and that is it. I don't even think I would I want to ask the person how they are. Like, how have you been? Are you okay? I've been working hard, and what I've realized is that this person, I love them and I want the best for them. I want them to live a healthy life, because they are not healthy. When I left them, they were not healthy emotionally, spiritually, or physically when it comes down to it. And so I want them to have that healthy life. And, but it's going to take them to grow themselves, which means pain. They're going to have to go through pain. And a part of me, if I ask how they are, they're going to tell me I already know how they are. And so what I do is I be the best version of myself for not only that person, not only for their well-being, but for the well-being of humanity. It's my duty to do it at this point. It's my honor, it's my privilege, it's my joy to be the best version of myself and to carry myself in a way that emanates and is contagious to other people, whether they are around you in person or if they're out there in the world, because we are entangled. The entanglement theory, or morphogenetic resonance, does exist, and it turns out that we are more interconnected in this ocean of energy than we realize, man. It's fucking crazy. And I don't like to go around talking about it, because people duck, dive, dodge out of the way just to avoid that conversation, because it forces them into some self-reflection. And it's fucking awesome when people's eyes glaze over and they just shut themselves off in the conversation because they can't handle it. They just shut themselves off. The fucking ego says, you don't want to hear this. And they just go. And then they start talking about something else, and then they're like, okay, I'm disconnected from this conversation. I'm like, well, there goes that. It was nice to know you. I'm glad I could inject a little bit of fucking truth and light into the conversation, and it was nice to meet you. And there goes that. I love it, man. It's fucking awesome. So, hey, to everybody out there, that's a few of the things I've learned. Maybe I'll put together a more organized version of a video like this where I can talk about all of the things in more detail. But when it comes down to it, that's the key. That was the key. Like, the main thing was to have that switch to where we don't have to live in a sense that we feel like, okay, I lost that person. I feel like I've lost on time, and what did I just ruin? Did it even exist? Was it even real? Did I waste my time? When in reality, it was exactly what you needed. They were the exact right person to bring to surface things that need to be brought for your avoidance, for your fears that are coming from your shame and your guilt and whatever else that came from childhood. Okay, so keep that in mind. Look into these things. It goes a long way for us moving forward. And we are in this change in paradigm, folks. There's no going back. All right. Something big has to happen in order for people to have to stop what they're doing and stop their energy towards healing. All right, folks. Peace.